Is there a Jewish formula for becoming rich? Listen carefully to this story as I explain these impressive concepts to achieve material and spiritual wealth and abundance. Listen carefully. A very happy couple, very happy for 20 years, paying their mortgage installments very well. Mortgage installments. The woman arrives one night and prepares her husband a dinner. As a surprise, a very nice dinner. Let's leave this story here for now and we'll come back to it later. Meanwhile, in a very upscale, very luxurious neighborhood near this couple, there is a couple that is really, really rich. Very, very rich. With a very luxurious house. A very luxurious house. The wife also prepares dinner for her husband because now, listen, because she prepares dinner for her husband, because that afternoon, her husband had a meeting to sign a contract with truly a billionaire who was coming from the United States. And they were going to sign a contract that would really bring them and their family wealth for several generations. Something impressive. And in fact, the husband went to that meeting, met with this person in a very luxurious, high-end restaurant as well, and they signed the contract. Very good, very good. Now, what happened? Evening came, night fell, and the woman was waiting for her husband with a lot of affection and great expectation because she hadn't spoken to him on the phone yet. And really, the husband opened the door of that big house, that big luxurious house. And what happened? The wife saw him with a sad face, She said, oh, you couldn't come, you couldn't sign this and that. He said, no, the husband told her like that. He said, yes, I signed. But what happened to you? Did something happen to you? No, nothing, she says. Well, look, I made you a festive dinner. It's us now. I made you a dinner with what you like the most, this and that. She said, no, I don't feel like eating. In short, the husband, almost without saying a word, put on his nightgown, went to his bed, and lay down to sleep. The woman really didn't understand anything that was happening and was truly stunned by what had happened. Knowing that she had signed, she told him that she had signed the contract and waited a bit for her husband to calm down. And she asked him what had happened. By then her husband was a bit calmer and he sat up in bed and he said to her, there's a feeling that, he said to her, it chases me, a feeling. She asked, what's wrong with you? He told her that he couldn't stand the envy anymore for that rich guy who had come from the United States. And he told his wife, oh, don't you know? I went to the airport to pick him up to honor him because we had this big contract to sign. Don't you know? Private jet, bodyguards, a limousine waiting at the airport, police motorcycles. In front and behind his office, as if he were the President of the United States or another world power. And someone really, I have to admit, very friendly with everyone, service staff, with everyone, with the limousine driver, with the police officers, with everyone. Very friendly. People were like a magnet. People were drawn to him like a magnet. Really, very humble. Also with clothes that were not very flashy. Someone extraordinary. And we really got to the restaurant and he asked me about myself, about my family, and we hardly talked about business. And really, I can't get rid of the envy. I can't get rid of everything he has, the millions, the limousine, and all of it. And how is he so humble too, and I have millions, but I don't know if people really like me. And this and that, really? The husband opened his heart to his wife. He opened his heart to his wife and told her that really, he was jealous. And he would say every little thing. Every property I buy, I get more nervous because I'm afraid someone will take it from me or steal the property if I buy on an island or somewhere else. And I have to keep silver coins at home, and I also need to have bodyguards to go to the bank. I'm constantly worried and I'm anxious, and I realize that I'm not very pleasant with people because I'm kind of nervous. And the woman knew her husband. She knew her husband was a good person, but what he was telling her was real. It was real. And the wife said, "But look, I made dinner for you." Well, really, the husband got out of bed, and with difficulty they had dinner, and they hardly talked about the contract they signed. They really signed for millions, impressive wealth, and he hardly talked about it. The husband talked about how hard it was for him, the worries about his wealth, the envy towards that rich man. And the woman, an excellent person and an excellent wife, tried to help him, and she really did help him. But it was hard to lift him up. It was like trying to use a crane to lift a truck, a trailer overturned on the side of the road. It was really very difficult. Let's go to the first story. And with this, if you understand what I'm about to tell you now, you'll really be able to understand. What is the Jewish formula for wealth, or one of the formulas? Listen carefully. 20 years, as I told you before, paying the mortgage month by month. What I didn't tell you, that for 20 years. This couple, who really managed their finances very carefully, was practically always at zero. There was almost no money in the bank. It was at zero, or just a little to the right of zero, a little in the green sometimes, but basically 20 years almost at zero, using what they needed here and there, but paying month by month. 20 years of the mortgage. The husband arrives, a simple person, very cheerful, with a job as a teacher, very cheerful, very happy. And he arrives, and his wife filled the house with balloons. The children were waiting, dressed as if for a party. His wife greets him. There were amazing aromas in the house. Then the husband arrived, and the children started singing with their dad, and the wife joined in too. The husband, surprised, asked his wife what the celebration was for, since it wasn't his birthday. The other thing was an amazing surprise. What happened? They arrived, he said. "Well, take off your jacket, this, that, your coat." Very well. The husband sat down with an expectant look on his face. He was confused, as it wasn't anyone's birthday in the family, and he didn't understand the situation. And the woman said, "Are you ready to listen?" "We have good news," said the husband. He said, "Yes, of course," said the woman. "Well, yes, I realized because of the party you threw for me." "What's going on here?" he told her. After 20 years, after paying the mortgage for 20 years, today we have 2,000 in the black in the bank, with 2,000 in the black in the bank. 20 years. The husband immediately understood what she was saying, and it really made him incredibly happy because of the effort they had made. It had really taken a lot of effort to pay off that mortgage, and today, 2,000 in cash in the bank. And God willing, that will continue, obviously. These two stories are running in parallel. About these stories, I want to focus on them to explain to you at least some of the Jewish formulas for wealth. The first one goes like this. I'm telling you, if you understand what I'm about to say in these few minutes, your life can change. A complete turnaround for the better, God willing, bringing you abundance, joy, and health as well. Listen carefully. Our sages explain in the Tractate of Avot what is the Mishnah. About 2,000 years ago, they say like this. I'll say it in Hebrew, then I'll translate it. It says like this. Who is the rich person? The one who is happy with what he has? And this is something that may seem simple, but it can change a person's life. 180 degrees. Let's bring this teaching to the example, to the two stories I told you. Let's think about the first case. First case. We're talking about a millionaire who signed $1 million contract. So we're talking about wealth for several generations to come. And what happened? envy, sadness. Obviously, I wasn't happy with what I had, worries about every material possession I owned. Therefore, that person could be happy to the fullest, with an excellent woman and abundance and this and that, and unhappy. Therefore, if we had come to that person, we would have said, look, I'm going to tell you a Jewish teaching, a Jewish formula for wealth. And the person might say, no, I don't need it. I'm rich, I have millions in the bank, and you could ask him, are you really rich? Yes, I have millions. What does it mean to be rich? Having millions? Yes. And are you happy with the millions? If the person is honest, they will tell you no, that they are not happy with the millions they have. It worries them more, bringing increased anxiety and envy as there are others richer than him. Therefore, here we see something impressive, which is that the person who is not happy with what they have is not rich. That's the definition. Now let's go to the second case, to the family that's happy to have 2,000 in cash. That person. First, if we can, let's reflect a little. In the story, that person went through a lot of effort in the process of paying the mortgage month by month. When 2,000 in cash arrived, somehow, looking back, they saw how much effort they had put in. Today, the house is theirs, and they have 2,000 in the bank in cash, and they're happy with what they have. And obviously, they understand that God gave them that blessing of having a house, of being in the green. In the bank, it's not millions, it's 2,000 in cash, not 2 billion, 2,000 in cash in the bank. But they're happy, a happy family, happy families, they're happy with what they have and they feel like you're extra. Before, they were probably happy when they had nothing, they weren't in the negative, they weren't in the red, they had nothing, they were happy, and now their happiness has multiplied. Therefore, we have to see something very deep here, that wealth, abundance has to do with how much. As our sages also explain, how much najat, how much inner happiness, how much inner peace that abundance gives you. Or as King Shlomo also explains, King Shlomo who says, this is something that is not direct, but we are going to connect it. King Shlomo says in the book of Proverbs, in the Hebrew book I translated, Sheva yipol tzadik vekam. 7 times the righteous falls and gets up. What does it mean? Surely the family that reached 2,000 in green fell. He made many mistakes, but he constantly got back up. From every fall, from every mistake, he got back up and saw how he could improve here, how he could improve there. It's a hard-working family, joyful in the process, happy in the process. Success is the journey itself. That is, a family that lives the process with joy. If we look closely, if we zoom in, if we look deeper, the story is about a family. Surely, obviously, with ups and downs, just like life itself. And the just one falls and gets back up. That's what King Solomon explains in his great wisdom. And you should know that in that verse, the word Amalek is hidden. Amalek is the arch enemy of the people of Israel. When we left Egypt, he came from very far away to attack us, just for being anti-Semitic, simply for being anti-Semitic. Pharaoh Amalek hides in the verse. Sheba and Paul Tzaddik Vakam 7 times. The righteous falls and gets up, because what does Amalek tell you in your inner heart? He says, you fell, you made a mistake, you don't have a chance. Keep falling because there's no way for you to get up. That's Amalek. That's the inclination toward evil. That's the Nahash, the serpent from the Garden of Eden, from Adam and Eve's Garden of Eden when they were created. The serpent that wanted to deceive them, that's Amalek. The inclination toward evil, wanting to deceive a person, that inner voice that wants to bring you down. In that verse is the danger of continuing to fall. May God allow us to rise up. The righteous one rises. 7 represents the weak, normalcy and nature. What's normal? To fall, to make mistakes? Our sages explain that it's precisely from mistakes that one learns and improves much more than before making the mistake. Making mistakes is undesirable and should be avoided, of course. But when we make a mistake, we must stop, reflect, and understand what happened. Why did I make a mistake? Ask God, the Creator, the Almighty, for guidance to help me improve and transform that fall in your life. It's an opportunity, it's a crisis that can be turned into a chance for growth. Therefore, here we see very profound teachings about how truly to understand Jewish formulas for wealth. There's also another one that I'm going to share with you. Our sages explain, it says like this, Marbe neshazim, marbe de agot. It's also written in the Tractate of Agot, if I remember correctly, about 2,000 years ago. He who increases his possessions increases his worries. As we said in the case of the millionaire, the more properties and assets he had, the more afraid he was of being robbed. And this and that, we need to change the focus. If the person is connected to all the abundance we have, to everything we mentioned, to our material possessions, we bring them to give. First to oneself, to the family, to being happy. Obviously, Judaism is in favor of being happy, of having what we want and everything we have. To bring it as a blessing to the whole world, of course, but also to give to those in need, even money, even good advice. Help however you can, wherever you can help, from giving a glass of water, giving good advice, a kind look, a word of encouragement, motivation, whatever it is, to help and contribute. That is the big chapter for today. Help and contribute. The abundance that God gives you. Transform yourself. Ask God to transform you into a conduit that should be seen, a tesinor, a conduit through you, to bring material and spiritual abundance to others. One can help materially, such as aiding the poor and needy, or spiritually by offering advice, encouragement, or motivation. Impressive. So today I gave you many formulas. If you apply them, God willing, remember the examples I gave you, try to apply them to the examples, and there, God willing, in your own life, it can be a source of blessing. Spectacular. So, well, speaking of something spectacular, if you're not yet a member of my beautiful community called Israel High, which is here, in Israel, probably everyone in the world is invited through the internet. Baruch Hashem, thank God if you're not a member yet, I invite you to become one, here. In the video description, you have links. You have links that you can connect through the links. You can also write on my community WhatsApp. And also something very interesting, if you are already a member of my community, so you know that soon, God willing, we will launch a new Hebrew course. In today's class, I discussed Hebrew words with you. If you want to know more about biblical Hebrew, in fact, Hebrew is the language, Lashon HaKodesh is in Hebrew, the holy language, that God created the world and creates every moment. The world with the 22 letters in Hebrew. It is a root language, the root of the world, which is how God creates the world. Amazing. With the 22 letters in Hebrew. If you want to learn Hebrew, you can sign up. If you are a member, it's free. It's free if you are a member of Israel High. For those who are not members yet, it's a paid course. But also, obviously, if you want, it will be with much blessing. But you can become a member, and it's free for you if you want the Hebrew course. So with much affection, you should know that Israel High, my community, is a community where we do a lot of good deeds in Israel. Families of soldiers, to the children of soldiers, to the wives of soldiers, to the families of soldiers in general. We have gatherings, you have courses, also Torah courses, Judaism, topics about Israel. I imagine that many people would like a group to belong to that's connected with the Torah, with Israel, with the land of Israel. This is a unique opportunity you can't miss, our beautiful Sergei community. You'll feel like you're in a constant embrace. That you're connected with the community, that we send you WhatsApp messages, and you can really listen to courses. Or we have meetings on Zoom. It's amazing, in one word, amazing. So let it be with lots of blessing, lots of abundance. We constantly give credit for the abundance that God gives us, to be a simple, clean, and pure conduit, to bring it as a blessing to the whole world. Just as God promised Abraham, our patriarch, those who bless you will be blessed, and truly. And that Abraham is a blessing for all nations, we give the merit of being a blessing for the whole world. All of creation, success and blessings.